Let's continue with part 3 of our Union 1861 campaign. We're in the middle of trying a flank with the 2nd Division. Gonna grab my 2nd Division, and these are responsible for the flanking attack. So let's do it this way. So it is a pretty bold attempt. It's very possible that their forces could start running away. We'll unpause and see how this plays out. But it's very possible that their forces could retreat at the wrong time and overwhelm our other forces. Oh yeah, but we do get a chance to do this. I wish I could... I might even want to tell them to do this on the double. Let's have them do it on the double. So I think we have a real chance at winning this. What the heck are you... What in tarnation? So what the heck are you guys doing? Face the enemy, men. It appears that they have faced the enemy, which is good. That's what I would expect nothing less. Might get these guys to run all the way over here, see if we can do a flanking operation. Little flanking maneuver. This is Grand Tactician after all, not Grand Strategician. Get these guys over here. Looks like we're going to get some flanks going on our own. I hope that you guys are already firing. You must. Yeah, you must already be firing. So we're doing okay. I think we're actually doing okay. Sherman, what in tarnation are you doing? Still feel like we're doing okay. Unit is going to run through our flank. We will immediately peel. Wait, we still have a detachment here. Okay, so we'll face that first. Okay, turn. We're no longer outflanked. Yeah, but these guys are the ones who have got to get going. Just move on the double. That's so cool. Oh, look at this cavalry. It's a very bizarre maneuver. Go on the double. I think we're about to break them. At this point, I have to imagine that this maneuver is just... Oh, what do you know? Just right on cue. Oh my goodness. So, they took really horrendous losses. We didn't get any of their guns, which frankly, I'm a little surprised by that. So, at the end of the day, what happened here? Our army was victorious. We can actually inspect the battlefield, but it looks like we lost 344 infantry. But they lost 1,200 of their 4,300, so 4 times as many, well, not quite, but between 3 to 4 times as many infantry. And we did lose 10 of our 300, that's noise in the whole system, the whole scheme of things. So they lost 1,200 of their 4,400, almost a third of their force. And we lost, we're talking about, not even a 10% of our force. So pretty substantial victory. I would have liked to have seen how this plays out because I feel like we were just about to surround them. Maybe they just flee off the field, but if they did that, their guns should be mine. Anyway, once we're done inspecting the battlefield, just press play to quit the battle. It says right there. You can't really see it because my overlay is blocking it, but it says press play to quit the battle, which we'll do. So the Battle of Manassas Junction ended on March 16th, 1861 with a Federal major victory. That is a fortuitous start to the Civil War in this alternate timeline. And it's not too surprising that we're able to move over and take over Manassas. I think I already mentioned this, but it was just such a heavily contested area throughout the Civil War. Back and forth. And you probably heard of the Shenandoah Valley. just to the west. So these are important landmarks. Many contested battles. In comes in that sweet Civil War music. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the music, that's one of the reasons why this game reminds me a little bit of the awesome Ken Burns documentary on the Civil War, because he had such fantastic music in that, and they have very similar music in this. I think one of the songs might even be a direct crossover. Ashendoa Farewell or something like that. A little bit of a loading screen here, but that's fine. Okay, our own losses mount up to 354. The enemy is believed to have lost 1,200 men. The enemy's national morale drops by 0.15%, so 0.15%, while our military experience rises by 0.08%. So they lose 0.15% national morale. We gain 0.08% military experience. Not that big of a deal. I mean, that's a positive. That's a complete positive. So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to immediately tilt the odds in our favor. I mean, I think that the Union comes in favored, right? So they have the economic base. They have the massive population superiority. So really all the cards are stacked on the Union side. If it was total war, I mean, if it was really every man on both sides was volunteering, and then the war would have been over a lot quicker. Maybe. I mean, the Union leadership did have a lot of problems. Anyway, support for the rebel cause wavers in the face of their defeat. So that is good news for us. Now, one of the very cool things about this game, I'm going to pause real fast. What you'll see is we've moved in. The Army of the Potomac, for them, is now going to be retreating. And I think the time has advanced for this, but the really interesting thing is you can have multiple battles going on at the same time in this system. If you are fighting one battle here, you fight it on the campaign map, but then I think what happens is when you come back to the strategic map, you reverse time to the very beginning of that battle. Or basically, the strategic map has not played out anything yet. So then when you come back, you're playing and these two forces are occupied until the time it takes for that battle to have ended. And in the meantime, you can actually get into another battle. You can have two battles going on at the same time. So time does not stop while you go into a battle. And such a very neat, innovative system. I hope we see more grand strategy games like this with this dual system, because I find it extremely interesting. Now, the Department of Virginia over here, I think that they may be in for some kind of treatment, some kind of visit from the rebels. If we can, it would be nice to kind of reinforce them. We could construct a fort, but that's not really what I want to do. Depot, cavalry orders. We'll have the cavalry guard. I don't think there's any cavalry in there. So let's look at the two stances here. If you're in the offensive stance, then you will engage any other force nearby. But if you're in the defensive stance, if two forces are both in a defensive stance, then no battle will be fought. They'll just walk right by each other, oddly enough. Well, we see defensive here. When the unit stops due to contact or after reaching its destination, it will start entrenching. That might be what we want. The unit will camp if it has no movement orders, but will not dig in order to keep order. Okay, so let's have these guys go on the defensive so they can just start entrenching, because I think we're going to need them to defend themselves. And hopefully they acquit themselves well. Now, strolling back up to the north, I know that we asked some of our forces up in New York to do something, and it does look like they are on the move. So remember, when I gave the movement orders, I did select the option to move by rail, by boat, or by naval transport. And the amount of transport capacity and all that I have, we can see I have sea transport, river transport, and railroad transport. So while my different armies use different forms of transportation to go from one place to the other, ooh, look at this. Wasn't my vessel chasing this guy? And we still are. Well, I think that this is going to be there's no way back, right? It doesn't have a way out. I don't know if they're going to try to move up and start threatening Washington, but in order to do that, they're going to have to get by Fort Washington, which might be biting off more than they can chew. This is an interesting tactic. I mean, in real life, this would have scared the heck out of the Union, because they were just really worried. The whole war, I mean, at least for the beginning parts of the war, they were always worried about losing Washington, D.C., or, you know, the national morale hit that you would take if a single shell landed near the White House. So, you know, who knows what this would have done, seeing the... Oh, wait, what's this? We do have some movement over here. Army of the Potomac. This is the one that we had already routed earlier. And then another force of 2,300. So can our force of 8,300, could we possibly engage again? Maybe it's time that we go and try to take Winchester, or we can try... So we actually own Fredericksburg. It looks like Fredericksburg is kind of an extension, or because... Maybe it's because it's in our command radius. The rebels might not have anybody there to contest our occupants. Let's actually move on Richmond. This is a little bit gutsy, but I'm relying on the fact that my army should be coming in pretty quickly. I'm going to hope that their order delay does not allow them to move on Manassas before I get my other... Oh, yep, looks like we are going to fight. Yeah, look at this. Battle of Chesapeake Bay. Assault, auto-resolve assault, or retreat. So what exactly is happening here? Is this a siege going on? Yeah, they do have a substantial number of people. So because I think that they've vacated Richmond to do this, at least our goal should be to make them pay. So let's go ahead and let's just move on Richmond. Here we go. Okay, I'm issuing the orders. We're moving out. I don't know what happened to their fleet here. Looks like my home squadron is now chasing a ghost. And they're no longer present. Yeah, there's one siege going on. That's this one, I guess. Okay. Glorious victory at Chesapeake Bay. Hampton Division fleeing in panic. Ah, interesting. So we actually... Something happened in this area. It wasn't a battle that we fought. I think that anything involving the forts automatically is an auto-resolve. I think, but I did see an assault. Let's read the note, the message that Benjamin Butler has sent us. The Battle of Chesapeake Bay has ended with the Hampton Division retreating in panic. My command has earned us a total victory with the enemy army running for their lives. The enemy has reportedly suffered total casualties of 1,567 men, thereof 237 killed and 0 captured. Their morale is believed to be panicked. Our casualties total 245 men, who with 30 killed, 24 missing, and the rest wounded. Morale is confident, with the supply situation critical. We have captured 253 and probably 3 guns from the battlefield. Very impressive job, Benjamin Butler. Although they're back. So I'm not sure what Hampton's doing here, but he has suffered some egregious casualties. Yeah, almost over a third of his force. In the meantime, here we are moving. The game's paused for the moment. And now it's very nice also. We see the statue is representing our Battle of Manassas victory. Yeah, I don't remember having 1,300 men, or 13,000 men, but substantial. So far we started off this thing pretty well. Things are going our way. Home Squadron, I don't know if you're needed here anymore. maybe I can sail you over here this way, and then I'll have you just move to port. You still have 39 days at sea, so it doesn't seem like anything's really the matter. And interesting enough, we have a tactical withdrawal or strategic retreat. Probably more on the strategic side in this one. I can't quite find this guy's banner. There he is. Army of the Potomac. Yeah, this is the one that suffered really bad casualties. It turns out it's up to like 2,000 now. So they're withdrawing, but where's our... Yes, here comes our army. Right on time. So that's good. So even if they did want to move on Manassas now, they wouldn't be able to cut off our supply lines for very long. And of course, it's really interesting that this game models supply lines. I don't... There's... I think... Is there a supply overlay or something? I can't remember what... I think there's a supply overlay. Or is it... Yeah. Map and... I mean, I haven't even gone over this yet, but show supply lines. So... Show supply lines of units on campaign map. So, can we see the supply lines? Oh, interesting. Fredericksburg has weapons, uniforms, all these things. So it's kind of interesting that all that's modeled. So the economy in this game is really deep, which is that's almost a little surprising considering you don't have very many knobs to interact with it. Mostly, I think it's just this. It's just your subsidies. So, well, let's try to get ourselves into one last final conflict before maybe calling the stream for the day. Let's send in the First Corps. So as soon as they get situated, what's their status? They're in range, and there's bad weather. I see. Richmond falls. The president flees. Okay, so the Confederacy, they've let their capital fall, which I imagine is a bit of an oversight. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's very good news for them. We're on the offensive posture here, so I suspect that we might actually get involved in a... Okay, where's our supply lines? Dragging back all the way to here. Well, hopefully that's all connected. I mean... Manassas is still ours. Okay, so let's get the First Corps to engage. Go ahead and move on in. And our army will be within range, which is important, obviously, because you want to make sure you're in command range. So, move this way. Here comes our First Corps with... Yeah, we have close to 15,000 people. This is gonna be a massacre. Let's get this over with, though. I could auto resolve, but I'm having too much fun with the battles. So let's jump into another tactical battle. The Battle of Winchester, Virginia, March 23rd, 1861. After the initial skirmishing and maneuvers, the opposing armies are deploying for battle. So this is the campaign which has gone the best for me so far. I don't want to... Uh-oh, the Union fields 5,100 men under the command of Brigadier General Shields. What? No. It should be... But they only have 1,600 men. I wonder if this is going to be one of those where I end up getting reinforcements. Now, according to these numbers, I'm still basically a 3-to-1 favorite. So we don't expect much trouble. Still, I mean, I would rather have 13,000 than 5,000 just... in every situation. Especially, it's kind of the mantra of the Union, right? To win with numbers. We are facing the Army of the Potomac under the command of Philip... Oh, it's Cock again, poor guy. With a strength of some 2,000 men and 4 guns. The enemy army is green and the morale is reported to be confident. Reports indicate their supply situation is outstanding. Well, that's a little troublesome. Our current morale is broken. Well, wait a second. What's going on here? Yeah. Low ammunition. Oh, Lord. Oh, this is... We may have been a little bit premature in our attack on... Sharpsburg. Actually, this is a different city, but we're going to be doing this on Sharpsburg just because that's the... Yeah, what the heck is going on here? We have no troops. It's an empty army. I typically have high hopes for my army. Feel like we can overcome much. I don't think we can overcome having 0 troops. I should have auto-resolved. So we'll hit play and see. I really don't know what's going on here. This might be something that I have messed up. We can always retreat. I don't think surrender is an option. Yes, so unless we get some other forces mighty quick, I'm a little concerned for our situation here. Let's get one of these guys to go take the sunken road. It's kind of a joke because I don't know how we're taking anything, but one of them to go take the Dunker Church. Wonder what happened to my troops. We might just have to surrender this one and then live to fight another day. We can actually maybe give the auto-resolve a fair shake since I haven't done that yet. But Sharpsburg, it'd be fun to fight the full battle here if we had the men. It's just a little confusing. Perhaps those men were not in combat shape. Okay, so now it's only showing 1st Division. Yeah, no, it definitely says we have 11,000 men, 500 in artillery, and 1,000 people sick. So it says we have the full amount. I wonder where they are. I am concerned. This is concerning. Because unless the Confederates are suffering from a similar mass desertion, we got a real problem here. So, I mean, this is the perfect time to remind everyone, remind myself. This is an early access title. In fact, I'm playing on the very first version of the early access, so it's quite possible that by now the game has received several patches. Are you not able to take this? It's funny because they are moving as if there's supposed to be troops in front of them, but there's no troops with them. So yeah, let's just go ahead and order a retreat. We're gonna just take this one on the chin. Unless there's is there like no, sometimes there's a reinforcement schedule. Let's just make sure that we aren't missing a reinforcement schedule. Because I'd hate to lose a battle just because I was not really paying attention. So let's look at the briefing. Okay, objectives. Neither of those are helping. Let's look at the, is there a... Okay, 21st. Alright, the 1st Corps, 26th Army. Remarks, it's the best corps. It's the only corps, but don't let that stop you from giving them giving them the title of best. Yeah, something's a little bit weird here. I think I just need to retreat out of this battle, since I'm a little concerned that we're going to get our leaders killed or something. Okay, withdrawn. All of our units have withdrawn from battle. Although the battle is counted as lost, the troops are retreating orderly. Yeah, we didn't... It says 0 out of 0, so apparently that was not just me. And they did have 1,000... What? They took 1,050 casualties? What? Well, that's... They really shouldn't try to cross the river without knowing how to swim. I don't know what else it could be. If I have a chance on the strategic map, though, I would like to maybe test out how auto-resolve would have handled this. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have had that same issue. That's crazy. I mean, this must be just because we have no scouting report. Yeah, I'm just imagining that it must be because we have no scouting. So we don't actually know how many men they lost, and we have wildly speculated that they must have lost 1,000 men, even though there was no conflict. I don't know, maybe they ate some bad food or something, or are already suffering from some other disease. Anyways, it's not like we wanted to give away that national morale. Kell Squadron is in contact with the army. Oh. Let's try to auto-resolve. Well, should we play this one? Oh, the Army of Shenandoah is here, which has 3,000 men. Now, how strong are we? Wait. Yeah, show me that. 1 man under... Okay, so it's 1... Let's just auto-resolve this. Kell's Squadron fleeing in panic. Support for the rebel cause with waivers. Alright, let's see. Our casualties were 187 men. We killed 0 of theirs. I have to say that these are some troubling reports. Is that... At West Point is... Well, look at... We got this for just a reason. Let's go in here and save... No, not there. Can you go here? Well, you can go here, so let's try to get there and then see if we can... I can't tell if this is... Yeah, this is definitely a North Carolina squadron. It's a ship of some kind. Army of Shenandoah. Yeah, it's 3,000. Well, we've occupied Richmond. I mean, that's already a huge victory in its own way. Let's go ahead and grab the... No. Can you stay put? Maybe take a defensive stance? Okay, an engagement. What's this battle all about? Is it the same thing? It is. I'm going to try to auto-resolve again. I'm not really sure what's going on there. The sounds of battle fill my ears. Very cool. Land battles going on is 1. And this is what I mean. Now, we can have several battles going on at the same time. It's really cool. Okay, the first corps, you are deficient, excellent, good, and untrained. So everything seems okay. 0% supplies. Okay, so let's actually saunter you back over the river just until you can gather enough supplies to effectively arm yourself. I now see why, nobody's showing up, because nobody has a gun. Nobody has a bullet to fire, so they're not interested. We'll see how this goes. Okay, well, this is exciting. I mean, still, having taken Richmond, you'd have to imagine that there's a massive blow dealt to the Confederacy. And, yeah, their national morale is already down to 78. It's a pretty sharp decline. National support, still very high. This is basically the sum of all the different supports from the different states. So I'm actually surprised 83 is so high for us, because there's a few states in the Union right now that are still on the border, or it's still an open question whether or not they want to join the Confederacy. Morale of armies looks just fine for us. I see both of them just dropped. Loyal states, yeah, that's normal. We have 35,000 men in the field right now and 34,000 tons. Military experience about nothing still. 4 battles won. And the Confederates have actually taken 1,600 casualties so far. European relations, federal slight advantage. Yeah, we're keeping 41%. It's not amazing, but we're managing to stave off the British from entering so far. So let's let the corps here hopefully recoup some supply. I think we're okay to go at 10x. I will be interested to see how this battle ends. apparently it's a real fight. Federal forces triumphant. All right, fantastic. Here we go. The enemy has reportedly suffered total casualties of 204 men, and we lost 307. You know, we captured 46. I think that I'm gonna call an even exchange in our favor. Union Army's unstoppable. I don't know if I'd say that, but you know, the national morale exchange and all that, holding on to Richmond, that's an appealing thing for me, obviously. And so far, the supply lines remain open, although we are kind of at risk because we weren't able to secure the flank over here at Winchester, which for me would have been comforting to know that Manassas was in a little bit of a better shape. Anyway, it's what I would have liked, but it's just not what was possible. So, yeah, we'll just move on to 10x for a little while. Let's see if we can get any supplies over to the First Corps. Can we ask them to? I think we can ask them to build a depot. So maybe we can ask them to build a depot somewhere around here. Whoop. Okay, before we get to that, apparently, who's in contact? Army of the Northwest is this one, isn't it? Oh, they're fighting these guys again. Okay, let's auto-resolve this one. I have my hands full, literally, my mouse. Oh! Oh my gosh! It's this one. Wait, what's going on? Okay, let's get the First Corps to move in on this. Can you march to the sound of the guns? So this is the department. Oh, okay. So this is quite a battle. And our forces were triumphant. The enemy took 574 casualties. We lost 892. Again, not a great number. But this might as well be the time we move in. So let's go on the offensive and let's try to take this area now. We do have some supplies. All right, fantastic. Let's move in. So the Army of the Northwest is in full retreat. We kicked them out. And now we're going to move on Winchester. This could be our big moment. Let's see if we actually manage to if our troops actually manage to show up to the battle this time. Let's fight this one on the battlefield. Let's see if it's possible at least. I'm going to have to do this one very quickly here because, oh boy, look at this. We've already been going for an hour and a half. Almost 2 hours. All right, this looks good. We actually control more than 10 to 1 numbers. I think this is one of those that if this was StarCraft, I would say we're just going to move over there. Just move the entire force. I don't even really think there's much deployment that needs to happen. We're just going to keep our whole order of battle together and just march them together. And I think that we are unstoppable. And I see that we have people this time, which I'm happy about. So let's just move here, take that. You can kind of take things when the game's paused. And then we just need the fastest way over. It looks like this is perfect. Okay, so let's deploy here. And let's make a move for Sharpsburg directly. Just going to go at 10x. We have no concern for life. Just beeline on over there. Let's see if this one goes our way. I mean, considering we're at like a 10 to 1 advantage, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. We're just going right on in. Which with all these people is actually still going to take a while. But I think that even a couple, we should be just so overwhelmingly favored in any kind of fight. I mean, we'll be able to flank them and just, it's like, it'll be over, I think, very quickly. I'm hoping. But I'm also still excited because look how beautiful this tactical map is. And, you know, the little maneuvers we had to do in the first fight to win that one, it felt really good. And then being rewarded as such for a few, you know, we're trying to turn the flank. It's one of the advantages of playing as the Union. You have a longer battle line, so the Confederates, it'll be an interesting challenge. For those of you who are interested in playing the Confederates, or already are, it'll definitely be an interesting challenge. Learning how to, make do with slightly less men. Have to, probably curl back on your lines and such, just to make sure you're not getting flanked. Okay, so darkness has fallen and we are victorious. And I'm not sure exactly, this must have been in the early skirmishing, but they did take some casualties, we took some casualties. Unless these are the casualties they already had. But nonetheless, we'll inspect the battlefield. Let's just see where they were. No idea, actually, but we'll just hit play to quit the battlefield. The Battle of Winchester ended on March 27th, 1861. This is amazing, by the way, that all this is happening still in March of 1861, when, in reality, just about nothing was happening at this point. And once we've reaped the reward of our battle screen, here it is. Nice newspaper article. Glorious victory at Winchester. That's going to conclude this video, and for those of you who aren't aware, the first 3 videos of this is what was being streamed over on the Grand Tactician Steam homepage. But that series, that stream ended here, but my series will now continue to episode 4 and beyond. So I'll catch you back for the next video. Until then, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.